We're back. That wrestling show on NESN. How about that?
Yeah, somehow after the fiasco with Matt Taven and Dalton Castle.
We brought in dogs and cats because honestly we thought we were getting canceled, so we brought out all the stops. We were bringing in the cute pets. But we're back.
We're back.
We didn't get canceled.
No.
And we're here for a great show, Extreme Rules.
Yeah, Extreme Rules, where there's only rules.
Only rules. We're going to follow all the rules, but we're going to follow them extremely.
Yeah, they're extreme rules.
I am Mike Wendt. Of course, you NESN viewers know me from Wicked Bites every Saturday morning, 9:30 right here on NESN. With me as always, Liam Stryker. Liam, tell what you're about.
Yeah, I am Liam Stryker of the New Age Insider. And you can find us on newageinsiders.com.
There you go.
All the Twitter and internet nonsense.
Live every Wednesday night?
Live every Wednesday night.
There you go. No job is too big, no fee is too big for New Age Insiders.
No.
But let's get right into the Extreme Rules. We are going to follow these rules, as we mentioned, very extremely.
Yes.
So let's jump right into the pre-show. The, what is it, the Mountain Dew Extreme Kickoff Extravaganza?
Yeah, the Secret of the Ooze pre-show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Secret of the Ooze pre-show.
They're going, now, this is the second one where they're going with the special start time, or the new start time.
Yeah,
the new regular start time of 7 p.m.
Because they've gotten rid of brand-exclusive pay-per-views, and every show is just going to be a joint show from now on. And so that means that they're all going to be 1,000,000 hours long.
Well, I feel that they made the times earlier.
Yeah.
So that they can't, because they were going until midnight, sometimes 12:30, and I feel that they probably, just as speculation, but they were probably seeing more on-demand numbers than they were live numbers.
Right.
So in order to get the live numbers in, we're going to move it back to 7. Kickoff show starts at 6.
Right. So
it's
let's
a little
start
bit easier. It doesn't make people stay up all night long.
Yeah, you know, everybody's used to having these shows end at 11, so keep it, shifting it up an hour so it doesn't end at midnight and ends at 11. Smart choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smart choice.
So the kickoff show is going to start off with Andrade Cien Almas versus Sin Cara in what nobody knew was an ultimate grudge match.
Yeah. Yeah, Cien Almas came up. He came up to the main roster and has just been picking on Sin Cara this whole time. So we obviously have to settle it on a pre-show.
As you do.
As you do.
And
so, Andrade Cien Almas, he's been doing great. He was great as NXT champion, an NXT championship run that was ultimately surprising in how great it was. I don't think anybody expected him to just kind of come out of nowhere, beat Drew McIntyre, and then carry that championship and have a bunch of great matches. So I'm excited to see what he can do on the main roster.
Now you're gonna have to school me a little bit because there's a lot of hours of wrestling to cover in a week.
Right.
So I'm gonna admit, unfortunately, I'm more of a casual NXT fan. Usually I binge right before a takeover type of thing, get updated on what we're gonna be seeing that weekend.
Right.
School me on who Andrade Cien Almas is, because when I first looked at him, I thought he was an Alberto Del Rio type of knockoff.
Yeah, so he's not necessarily an Alberto Del Rio type of knockoff. The best way to describe it for anybody that is familiar with New Japan, he is basically the same character as Tetsuya Naito.
Okay.
And so basically he's all about being tranquilo. And so it's about being relaxed and cool and not caring.
Oh, so he's more of a Rob Van Dam knockoff.
Sort of, yeah. Imagine Rob Van Dam and Alberto Del Rio had a love child.
So basically, because it's 2018 wellness policy, a little less than 420.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
He's just chill for chill's sake.
Yeah, he's just chill for chill's sake. And
Where does Selena Vega fall into all this?
So Selena Vega was just kind of floating around, and Cien was basically just floundering at the NXT level. He was losing all the time. He didn't know who he was. He didn't have an identity. So she shows up, and she's like, I'm going to bring you to the top.
Get a pop, get an attractive woman next to you.
Yeah, right. And so that's ultimately what ended up happening. The two of them pair up, and she brought him onto the winning ways, and it's been a winning formula. The two of them together definitely gave him an identity, and it's definitely given her something to do. And
more than generic wrestler number 4.
Yeah, more than, yeah, right. And so, he's captivating. He was captivating on the NXT level. Now, right now, we kind of continue with that NXT superstar that comes up to the main roster and we don't know what to do with.
Right.
So,
well, it's not just NXT stars. As we're going to get to this card, they don't know what the hell to do with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just, hey, you guys go wrestle.
Yes.
Here's 15 minutes. Go throw each other around. Flips.
Yeah, right.
So who do you have coming out of this? Because let's not spend too much time on the pre-show.
Cien Almas, this is his first pay-per-view, and
give him a win.
Give him a win.
And that's what Sin Cara's here for.
Yeah.
Okay. Second pre-show match, dipping a little bit into the extreme with a tables match. It is the New Day versus Sanity.
Finally Sanity makes their debut. They've already lost, so we don't get the undefeated streak situation going on.
Twice.
We'll get to see what Sanity's all about on the main roster. I think it's, hopefully they've been keeping them off of TV in order to...
You hope there's a reason for it.
Right. There was some sort of reason. They have a plan for these guys.
Sure.
Putting them against the New Day, who is top shelf talent for the WWE. I think it's going to be good. Let's see what Sanity's all about.
I think I agree with you that Sanity has to win this.
Yeah.
And the New Day isn't going to be hurt by a loss to Sanity.
No, a New Day is going to throw out like Bootio pancakes, and their new thing's going to be egg ice cream or something.
Sure.
And they're going to get into spaghetti, I guess.
Sure.
And they'll be fine.
Piles and piles of spaghetti. I like it.
Yeah, that's their new gimmick. Who knows?
Now, as far as Sanity goes, and I love that was one of the teams I loved in NXT, especially their entrance. I thought it was so cool. It's one of those entrances that if you go back and watch on NXT, because Full Sail is a much smaller, much more intimate space, it looks so awesome.
Yeah, right.
But because of the size of the arenas that the main roster is out of, it's a little harder to get that in-your-face type of feel when you have the big sweeping crane shots coming from 90 feet away.
Oh, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they kind of translate. This is the same thing where they were a big deal in NXT, and so let's see how they translate to the main roster.
I also feel, and this is on a negative side, I feel they've been doing Sanity a disservice by making them eat a couple of losses right off the bat.
Right.
Where they should have just kind of come out and been those reckless, beat everybody down, but not in matches.
Right.
What they started doing.
Yeah, right.
Lights go out, sirens go on. It's not Scott Steiner, it's Sanity.
Yeah, right.
So they come down, they beat everybody's ass, and they leave without having to eat a loss on television.
Yeah.
Which they've done 2 weeks in a row.
Right. And
so they have to give them a win, or it's going to just be the Wyatt family all over again.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And it'll be very interesting to see how long they stick together, because the Wyatt family didn't stick together all that long.
Yeah, again, it's that fear of factions, really.
Right.
Where they're afraid to keep these guys together, but they work well together.
Right.
And it shows. Even we'll get to the Shield in a little bit because they have matches later on, but they don't need to break up. There doesn't need to be a breakup because they also don't need to be together.
Right.
Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, we all know that they're Shield.
They're affiliated.
But they don't have to come out together.
Right.
Well, eventually that's how you should do a, for lack of a better term, not even a breakup, a separation.
Well, you look at something like New Japan, right? And they are built on factions.
Sure.
The Bullet Club, Chaos, ILJ, and so they... Suzuki Gun, they all are factions, and there are members of that faction, but it's not a WWE-ized faction where you look at them and they're always together and they're running the show and they're the bad guys. And no, they all it's like a boxing camp.
That was also how the Attitude Era was. I mean, everybody was in a group. There was all these groups, DX, The Nation, NWO, NWO Black and White, NWO Latino, NWO.
Right, yeah, the LWO, the BWO.
The BWO, but everybody was in a faction back in the late 90s. And it was great because when you're trying to build to a pay-per-view, I feel, and maybe this was just because I was prime demo for the Attitude Era, I feel more excited about a pay-per-view when there isn't matches that are on the pay-per-view happening on television building up to it.
Right.
Like, I like the chaos stuff. When we get to Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley, every Brock Lesnar build-up, and we'll get to Brock in a little bit, but those, just the chaos, the schmozzes, where it's everybody, it's bedlam.
Yeah, right.
That leaves, because it leaves you with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? We talked about it, Survivor Series, gang warfare.
Right.
Love it. That's television.
It is.
That's entertaining. I don't care if these two are going to have a match and who's going to win on SmackDown because I'm going to see it in 3 days over on pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So, okay, Sanity, we're both going over?
I'm going Sanity with this.
This is the longest we've ever done a pre-show.
Yeah, right. This is the most time we've ever spent on a pre-show.
You can tell we've been away for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's get right into the main card. United States Championship.
This isn't a match that's happening.
It's not happening.
No, because neither one of these men are United States champion. Because Jeff Hardy is the United States champion.
That's on me. That's on me. I wrote this script and it was copy and pasting. My bad. By Bobby Roode, Randy Orton. Is it happening?
No.
The match at all?
I don't
Where did I
believe so.
find this?
Yeah, I don't know where. That was a United States Championship match from a couple weeks ago.
Scratch that from the record.
Yeah.
Holy S, I am sorry about that one. That's on me. I'm going to take the L on that one.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into the main card then. Finn Balor and Baron Corbin.
Yes. Constable Corbin. Constable Constable Corbin.
We have been away for a minute.
We have. It's
All right.
okay.
We got ring rust.
You have ring rust.
Constable Corbin, he's wearing slacks in the ring, and this whole
He shaved
feud,
his head.
He shaved his head, which, yeah, that was a positive move. The slacks in the ring, I don't know about, but ask Jack Gallagher. But this whole feud is built on height.
Yes.
I'm taller than you.
This is stupid.
Yes.
This is stupid. Because
I'm taller than you. Let's fight.
Well, it's Baron Corbin is coming from this place of like, I'm taller than you, so I'm better than you.
Right.
Whereas Baron Corbin has won maybe a United States championship, but only the Money in the Bank briefcase. Right? Which he
under a giant battle royal.
Oh yes, right. So a bunch of nonsensical things.
Now he's a constable.
And now he's a constable, which means nothing.
Because Stephanie McMahon appointed him constable according to him. We haven't seen Stephanie, so we're just taking Baron on his word.
Yeah, that it was a phone call. That
I can pick up my phone and be like, okay, I'm the president of NESN.
Yes.
Believe that.
You heard it. You heard it here. Heard it here first.
Because I said it. That's how we're. It's like Monty Python assigning a king.
Right.
Some watery talk gonna throw a saber at you. That's no way to run a government.
Yeah. Right.
You don't just believe the heel.
But it's like.
And what is Kurt Angle doing?
Right. This is my biggest issue with the way the WWE is written. Right. Finn Balor is presented as a huge deal. He's the first Universal Champion, which means something, kind of. But he was the first
12 hours.
He was the first Universal Champion.
Okay, we'll give him that.
So it's like,
then what?
But
now he's a smile and a fun T-shirt.
Yeah, right. But they're trying to have Baron Corbin be like, I'm a big deal. I'm a bigger deal than you.
Well, no, he's a taller deal.
Yeah, that's it.
He's taller.
He's a taller deal.
He's a tall man.
He's a tall boy.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good genetics.
Cool. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna lose, and
that's what we're both feeling.
Yeah, Finn Balor
going over. Okay, hopefully this match is happening. Steel cage match: Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens.
This is happening.
Very cool. This is one of the few build-ups I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it's also very weird.
Yeah.
Because they got Braun Strowman, who is clearly being pushed as the babyface.
Yeah, he's the good guy.
But he's being very heelish.
Yeah.
He's the bully in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Owens is just trying to run away. He doesn't want anything to do with this guy. And not and kind of in a chicken-esque type of heel way, but he's got his car flipped over.
Right.
You know, good thing he got the $11 a day insurance on the rental. He's been tipped over in a porta potty.
Does that count?
Gross.
Does that count?
And now, of course, what does General Manager Kurt Angle do when someone is being bullied? You put them in a cage with the bully.
Yeah, you put them in a cage so they can't escape.
Rasslin.
And they can just beat each other up. Look, I love everything that Braun Strowman's doing. I think that it's great. He's the Money in the Bank.
Both of these guys are fantastic.
Right.
They're two of the bright, shining stars of this show.
This match probably will be the match of the evening.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Just because they're two big ooga booga guys.
As far as fun, not
this thing's going to be fun. This thing is going to be a ton of fun. They're going to use the cage. Expect Kevin Owens to go through the cage.
We just did that spot with Brock, though. I mean,
right. And we also did it with Braun Strowman before that, where he tossed out the Big Show.
That's their spot.
Yeah. So who knows? There's going to be something fun. Braun's going to do something that's going to be great. I look forward to Braun Strowman matches in every single one of these. He's great. And
he doesn't disappoint either.
Right.
That's a nice thing about it.
And we need to get it ready for his inevitable cash-in. Because who knows if Brock Lesnar's going to be the Universal Champion.
Oh, we'll get there. We have a whole thing on Brock, so stay tuned for the Brock talk.
Yeah.
All right, so we're both going with Kevin Owens or Braun?
I'm going with Braun Strowman.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Kevin Owens is going to sneak his way out of this one.
If Kevin Owens wins, it will be because Braun tossed him literally out of the cage.
I mean, I see that.
Like, up and over. Threw him up and over.
Fun.
You know?
Maybe we can get Rikishi's pickup truck with the sod to come through just so he has a nice safe landing.
Yeah.
There's a reference for you. WWE Network, $9.99. Go check it out.
It's one of my favorite matches.
Oh, that big Hell in a Cell one, yeah.
Yeah.
The multi-man crazy schmoz fest.
It's so funny watching that because Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Was that Armageddon 2000?
Yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin hits Triple H with a broadcast camera and snaps the lens.
Oh, yeah.
And that lens, boys and girls, was like probably $40,000.
Yep. No, yeah.
It's a $40,000 lens just snapped in half.
Which is always funny, and just to take a sidebar on that for a minute, it's always funny when you see them, when they're going to throw somebody through a table, take good care of the monitors, make sure they take them out, and nothing breaks and all that stuff. pick up a camera and just bust it over somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, the camera's on a jib. It's on a giant crane, and he just grabs it and
the
just
crane,
hits him with it.
Yep.
And it breaks.
That's all part of the budget. Tax write-off. There you go.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I'm going Kevin Owens. You're going Braun Strowman. Let's
am.
move on to the Raw Tag Team Championship match. The Deleters of Worlds, Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt versus the B-Team.
I want them to all be friends.
You know, and I think I've had a lot of fun with this, mostly seeing Bo Dallas imitate Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Just for the inside brother factor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's been fun.
They've been fun. But I feel that they're going to get the titles. I just don't know where it's going to go from there.
Right.
Not for the B team, because I see that being a hilarious title run. I mean for the
Leaders of World.
Because there should have been a much longer program with those two going head to head before coming together.
Right. Well,
we could have gotten so much use out of the Hardy compound.
Well, yeah. I feel like everything with Woken Matt Hardy has been lacking, for lack of a better term. It just feels like they never leaned all into it. They're kind of just appeasing all the fans.
It also feels like I think we all agree they did it because Jeff was hurt. Matt had nothing to do.
Right.
Hey, I have an idea.
Yeah, let me do my
This
thing.
worked.
Yeah.
This kind of set the internet on fire for a few minutes.
Yeah, right. And so
Okay, we'll give you one.
We'll give you a minute. A minute. I would love to see ultimately what the Wyatt family and the Hardys, like the Woken Hardys, look like all together.
I would love to see that.
Like that, I think would be the next evolution for them. Is I don't know how it happens. Just get them over to SmackDown or get the other two over onto Raw, and let's just see how it looks. Because that would be that'd be fun TV. That would be ministry level. Of fun.
Again, that's the thing. Today's modern WWE is afraid of factions.
And they're afraid of fun.
There's that too.
They're afraid of fun. WWE, we don't have fun.
We don't have fun. So I'm going B team.
I'm going to go B team as well.
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of where we've gotten to.
New champions.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the SmackDown.
Actually, no, I do think that the Leader of Worlds will retain.
Okay.
I'm going to change that.
All right, so pizza bets. I like it. SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Bludgeon Brothers versus Team Hell No. Bludgeon Brothers are the champions. Team Hell No is Nostalgia Act.
Yep.
And
Team Hell No is going to win. And the reason why Team Hell No is going to win is because WWE have been handling the Daniel Bryan return perfectly.
Well, they've been ultimately handling it with kid gloves because his contract's up in September.
Right. Well, there's that. But the fact that they've been handling it with kid gloves because you can't put him in situations where he's near the title. Because as soon as you do that, the fan base is going to revolt again to want that guy to be the champion.
If he's near the title, the fans are going to need him to be champion.
Right.
They don't appreciate the chase.
As soon as that's on the table, the yes movement will start again. And I feel like WWE knows that.
I don't want that.
So they're giving us Team Hell No.
Right.
They're giving us Team Hell No to hold off on that. Giving Daniel Bryan something to do that's relevant, that's a big deal, that's something you like, in order to just kind of quell him not going after the WWE Championship.
Sure.
So, yeah, let's give him this. Let's have him wrestle, maybe lose it at Night of Champions or whatever the pay-per-view is in October.
And we also have SummerSlam coming up, so
right.
It'll be that.
You know, so SummerSlam, it gives him something big and relevant to do.
And that would also be around the time where he'd be deciding whether he's going to re-sign or not, which, I mean, come on, how do you not re-sign? You're on Total Bellas.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
Unless they're just going to blue dot him like cops.
Right, yeah, right. Well, the thing was, his whole bugaboo was, I want to wrestle.
Sure.
You got to let me wrestle.
He's wrestling.
And now he's wrestling.
He's wrestling.
So he would sign again. I would think
assume.
He'll sign again because they're letting him wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, because that was the only reason he was going to leave.
As a new father, it'd be the smart move.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, right.
Running around armories wouldn't be a smart move with a new baby at home.
Although Daniel Bryan and the Bullet Club would be very fun.
Sure, I agree with that.
just imagine the T-shirt.
Sure.
It's the Bullet Club skull, but then there's just a huge beard.
Yeah, I mean, you'd buy one.
I'd buy one. I'd buy one.
So you're going Team Hell No, huh?
I am going Team Hell No. Just because we have to give Daniel Bryan something big and important and relevant to do without putting him in the title picture.
Do you think Kane's going to be around that long?
See, Kane's going to be around until the actual election, and then he's going to be the governor.
When is that? I'm not up on Knoxville elections.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. But, you know.
Governor Kane.
Yeah, or Mayor.
Sure,
Kane.
whatever.
Mayor Kane.
Again.
Yeah.
Monty Python.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd throw a sword.
They're going to throw a sword at Kane and he's going to be the mayor. There
Yeah,
you go.
right. There you go. I think it would be seen. It's Nashville, Knox,
Sure.
probably some sort of country music.
Knoxville, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, I think I'm with you. Team Hell No.
Yeah.
I think it'd be an interesting setup. I think that's where they've been going. I loved that they allowed Daniel Bryan to do the pyro thing.
Yeah, it was so
I thought that
fun.
was a cool little surprise.
It was really fun.
Sidebar before we move on, they're completely just redoing the Team Hell No thing with Bayley and Sasha.
Yes, they are.
And the fact that they don't have a match on this means this is going to go on forever.
It's nonsensical.
And I'm already bored with it.
This might
Because
be,
they got rid of the doctor.
Yeah.
They changed doctors like in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, this should be a reason to have a tournament for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships.
Ooh, I like that idea.
That's got to be the payoff. If they're not going to fight and they're going to become friends again at the end.
Are they?
I don't know.
Are they?
WWE keeps starting and stopping with this particular storyline.
And then they don't have a match. This is
Right.
This is again a lot of matches just coming out of nowhere, and
Right.
especially around the main event area of this.
Yeah.
But these are two people who are actually in an ongoing story.
It's insane to me.
And they don't have a match.
It's insane to me that this has gotten so personal and so brutal where they're attacking each other, they're fighting.
It was going great until they started doing this comedy stuff.
Right. Well, there's that. But it's like
Not that I'm against the comedy
It's
stuff.
Extreme
they just can't do
Rules.
it.
It's Extreme Rules.
Right.
These two should have had a falls count anywhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what this pay-per-view is.
Yeah.
And it's weird that they're not doing it.
Another one that is in an active story, although it's lower on the card, but still it would have worked in a pre-show match or a lower card match. Our boy Mojo Rawley and No Way Jose.
Yeah.
Again, but they keep having matches on TV.
Right, but they're
It
not.
would have been great if Mojo just kept attacking the cheeseburger.
Right.
And then that built to a pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're armchair booking this, but they're in a story and not on the pay-per-view.
Right, it's weird.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, moving back onto the show that we were talking about.
To the
This is the
actual-
actual United States Championship.
This is.
Okay, where did I copy and paste that from?
Probably a template that you
Weird.
had on this other show sheet.
Probably. It may have been last month's. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Speaking of matches out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura was in a feud with AJ Styles, but now he's going to wrestle Jeff Hardy. I understand they've done a little bit of stuff, and I understand it's partially injury related.
Yeah, you got bit by a dog.
He did on a shin.
Yeah.
Shin got bit on the shin.
Yeah, shin got bit on the shin.
But why?
Yeah,
Why?
I feel like it's just what we got to do.
We were texting this week, and I sent you a text saying, who would have thought a few months ago when we were calling AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura a dream match in the wrestling community, who would have thought I'd be bored with it?
Yeah, bored with it.
I'm bored
it's
with
weird.
it. And it's moving no stories.
Right.
Because both are in separate stories.
Right, and they've been spending the time, like Shinsuke Nakamura has been still wrestling AJ Styles, and Rusev has been wrestling Jeff Hardy. So it's like, what is happening?
Why?
What is happening?
By the way, the only shining moment of this was Rusev on commentary this week at SmackDown.
Yeah, but Rusev is just a shining moment.
Him looking at Byron Saxton, I love the camera was actually on him at the time. He goes, I came out on a friggin' tank. What do you got, Byron?
Yeah,
And
right.
he just sat there, and by the way, I'm a fan of awkward silences. So he sat there awkwardly waiting for him to respond, and Byron had nothing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like beautiful. He's a beautiful, beautiful man. We'll get to him in a minute. But we're talking Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura.
This Jeff Hardy U.S. title run has been lacking, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
He's been the champion since the shakeup, and it doesn't feel like that. He's
It
missed
popped
TV.
the crowd at the shakeup.
Right,
but
he's missed TV due to injury.
Yep.
He hasn't defended it consistently. He hasn't been on TV consistently. So
He had an
it's-
open challenge for like 2 weeks in a row. Didn't
yeah,
he?
right. And then he got hurt, and so it's like meh. And so at some point, Shinsuke Nakamura needs to win something other than the Royal Rumble, and give him the U.S. title.
Sure.
Because why not?
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I don't know, but
Where do we go from here?
But let's at least a rematch for SummerSlam.
At least it'll be a flippy match.
Yeah.
It'll be a hard-hitting match.
It'll be fun. We'll
I think
see what
the
happens.
actual in-ring work between the two of these guys is, again, one of those higher caliber
Right.
dream match scenarios. It's just they haven't done anything to build it.
Right, and
Like, I want to see... I know Sunday when I sit down and I'm watching it as a show, and in a self-contained show,
Yeah.
I will enjoy it.
Right.
But in the build-up, I'm like, why?
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 Why? Who? Why?
Yeah. What? Where? When?
So, Shinsuke Nakamura?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
All right, moving on. SmackDown Women's Championship. Here's another convoluted story we got going on.
My least favorite stipulation on this card
James Ellsworth suspended in a shark cage for Carmella versus Asuka.
Yeah, I don't like.
Is that even a stipulation?
Look, it's so dumb. We've seen it with Enzo Amore. We've seen it with.
At least Enzo greased himself up and slid down. It was a
That
weird,
was the funniest
it was a
part
weird,
about
gross
that.
stripper act, but yeah, it worked.
It was funny. We saw it with him. We saw it with Paul Ellering.
Yeah, well, I mean, going back to the 90s, China did it.
China did it.
It's one of those, I mean, even going back to the 80s, I think Jim Cornette was hung in one in Memphis.
Well, we saw Chris Jericho in a shark cage, or so.
A bit more modern.
A little
Sorry,
bit
I'm
more,
old.
yeah, a little more modern. So this isn't a new stipulation, but yeah.
I mean, this is old as wrestling itself.
Yeah.
And it's not a stipulation. It's just the dude's hanging and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to get involved somehow.
He's going to get out. He's going to interfere. Carmella's going to retain.
Yes. Yes.
That's the story of this match.
Yeah. Or he tries to get out, bungles the whole thing, hits Carmella, and Asuka wins.
I'd like that a little bit better.
I think we all would.
It tells a hell of a better story than just what we've seen for 3 weeks.
Right.
You know, we saw it last month when it started.
Yeah, and so I did like the James Ellsworth gimmick off and wink at the camera.
I don't like anything about him.
Yeah, I know you
Anything
don't.
about him. And when I was like, when the masked person came to the ring during the match.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Maybe it's somebody from Japan that I'll have to Google. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man,
You were disappointed.
I was so angry. It was beyond disappointment. I almost walked out of the room.
Yeah, just disappointed.
I'm like, God, this guy really? I thought we were done with him.
Yeah, he's the first women's Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah, sure, whatever. So I'm going Carmella. You sound like Asuka?
I'm going to go with Asuka just because I feel
going
like
with the better story.
I feel like at the same time with Nakamura, at some point we gotta reward them for winning something. This woman had.
I mean, I would love to see Asuka win.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
I don't.
Don't see that happening.
It's not a hard Asuka. I'll tell you that.
James Ellsworth in a shark cage.
I just don't like it. I don't like it.
It's extreme, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Extreme Rules, we finally have our first actual Extreme Rules match for the Raw Women's Championship. By the way, as it's been promoted for about a month, Ronda Rousey bought a front row ticket.
Yeah, I don't know why that's news.
They hate surprises. Let's add that to the list too.
Yeah.
They hate like that used to be a cool little gimmick. You know, the NWO did it, but it's like you don't promote that someone bought a ticket. She's suspended. You leave her suspended. The match starts. She walks to the ring with a ticket in hand.
Right.
That's how you wrote this stuff. Why am I telling? That's the gimmick.
Yeah.
Not. By the way, we checked with Ticketmaster, and the name R. Rousey is purchasing a front row ticket. Please let me explain again. Ronda Rousey will be in the front row of this match, so buy this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's about. They have to basically say she's going to be there.
Right, and so obviously she's going to get involved in this match. I think that she's going to screw over Nia Jax.
I hope she does.
Because she wants to get her hands on Alexa Bliss for the championship. I think it would add great character depth to Ronda Rousey. Not like I'm a good person, but I want to beat you up so bad that I'm going to beat this other person up so bad to be able to beat you up.
I really would rather see Ronda chasing Alexa than Ronda chasing Nia for the title.
I also think that that's why Alexa won the Money in the Bank and then cashed in.
It's a great moment, by the way.
I think they want Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam.
I like it.
And
I'd buy that for $1.
That's the money. That's the money match, not Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. And we've already seen it, and it was okay. It was pretty good. Nia Jax is really good at what she does.
She is. I mean, we were hiring her about a year ago, and throughout this early part of the year, I think I'm kind of over it, though.
Yeah, well, it's just...
They've done very little with her, and it keeps flip-flopping between heel and face. I'm like, what is she?
She's got to decide what to be, or they have to decide what she is. And
like now her and Ronda are friends? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
they
a little
were at each
weird.
other's throats with Natalya getting thrown into the mix for some reason because somebody has to wrestle.
Yeah, right. So who knows how Ronda Rousey's actually going to play into it? But
she's going to buy a ticket and she will be there. So please buy the show because Ronda Rousey will be in the front row.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
It's the whole point of seeing this.
Anyway, I think
the funny thing is she's actually going to get involved in the WWE Championship match.
Well, there is that. there is that. Yeah, I see Alexa Bliss going over.
I do too.
And like you said, we're going to push to SummerSlam Ronda Rousey.
The other thing too is that from like a storyline standpoint, the Extreme Rules aspect actually favors Alexa Bliss. She's smart. She's been proven to be a very intelligent character.
Especially as a heel.
Especially as a heel. So,
and she's got Mickie James.
Well, she's got a bunch of nonsense that's at her disposal. She'll find a way to weasel out of this.
Now, Extreme Rules.
Anything
refresh my
goes.
memory. Anything goes, but it's not false count anywhere.
It's a hardcore match, is basically it. So it has
But you
to
have
end
to
in the
happen
ring.
in the ring.
It ends in the ring, but anything goes.
Anything goes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It basically means kendo sticks.
Yeah, kendo sticks because we can't do chairs.
Right, kendo sticks.
No flaming tables. Although I would love to see Alexa Bliss throw Nia Jax through a flaming table.
And then hit her with a barbed wire kendo stick.
Yeah. Oh, and
Easy
not
dub.
like, and not one of those newfangled like it's so tight. It's you know what I mean.
It's clearly rubber.
Clearly, you know.
That's an elastic band with spikes on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're both going Alexa Bliss on this
Yeah.
one. The Intercontinental Championship 30-minute Iron Man match between champion Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. When did we change Iron Man matches to half those times?
Yeah, so I'm saying it's not an Iron Man match. It's more of like a rebarb man match.
It's a half a man match.
It's like a rebarb man match.
Okay, very good.
Maybe like a bronze man match.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Metal talk.
Yeah, you know.
Metal talk on that wrestling
Metal
show.
talk on that wrestling show.
I think it's going to be a great match.
Yeah.
I definitely see Drew McIntyre getting involved.
Well, that was the stipulation at Monday Night Raw that was here in Boston. That was the lowest rated Raw ever. Drew McIntyre wrestled Seth Rollins, and if Drew McIntyre lost, he would be banned from ringside in this match. And so, yeah, obviously Drew McIntyre is going to get involved.
That's what you do.
That's what's going to
Shenanigans
happen.
with the heels. That's what you do.
I expect him not to be involved in the finish of this match, but be the reason why Seth goes down early.
I was going to say, you think it's going to go one fall or multiple falls throughout the match?
Multiple falls.
Because we only got 30 minutes. It's not an Iron Man match.
Yeah, no. You know, or what they call a match in New Japan.
A 30-minute multiple fall match.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, like a regular match in New Japan. Weird.
Weird. So who do you got going over?
I have Dolph.
Dolph Ziggler?
I have Dolph Ziggler walking into SummerSlam champion.
I think that makes sense. All right, let's just move right on to the WWE Championship. AJ Styles, the champion, versus Rusev. This was we talked a little bit about it earlier.
Yeah.
These guys have not really been in a feud together, but we're going to put them together.
Yeah.
I'm glad Rusev is getting his push to the title. I don't think he's going to win.
I
would love it if he did. I think it'd be the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's Happy Rusev Day every day.
I think everybody in the world wishes that
the
Rusev
pop would be
wins this.
incredible.
That Rusev, because I don't know if you know this, but tomorrow, Extreme Rules falls on Rusev Day.
Of course it does.
And so if Rusev can win the WWE Championship
on Rusev
Day, it would be such a glorious day.
I mean, I want him to win. My heart wants him to win.
I think everybody's heart wants them to win.
I just don't see it happening.
I don't either. AJ Styles is on the cover of the video game.
Oh, that's right.
He's on the cover of the video game. He is their workhorse on SmackDown. I don't know what the main storyline going into SummerSlam is, but it can't be AJ Styles facing Rusev in a rematch to try and reclaim his title. I just don't think that that's what we're going for.
Okay. It's still going to be a hell of a match.
It's going to be so fun, and it's going to break my heart when Rusev doesn't win.
And again, it's weird because are we in agreement that the grudge match
is going to go on last?
Is going to go on last?
Shouldn't. The WWE
Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley is going to go on last.
Right, and it's going to be everybody's going to hate it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't know who's the heel in this.
I don't either. They both just don't. Yeah, when it comes to Roman Reigns, I feel like they've adopted the mentality of we're just going to let people choose sides. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's the guy.
By the way, Facebook is calling us nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love it.
And you're watching us, so what does that make you?
So we'll back into it. Sorry, I got ADD.
Yeah. He's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He's the guy. So there are people that support Roman Reigns. They absolutely love it. So, I'm
a Roman Reigns guy. I mean, I dig it. And I don't find Bobby Lashley entertaining at all. So
yeah.
I think we know where I'm leaning on this because
right.
it's also one of those things they've ingrained in our head where you go into these matches and I'm like, there's no way Roman is going to lose.
Yeah, right.
That's just your natural default thought process. He can't lose.
Yes.
Why would he? He's Roman Reigns.
Right.
He's going to find a way to win.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be a good match. Both of them can work.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a number one contender match. It's a grudge match.
I know, which is
They
stupid.
make sure to tell you it's a grudge match.
Well, the frustrating part about this is that all the nonsense has been going on with Brock Lesnar, which we'll get to in a minute. But this was supposed to be to decide a contendership for to be his opponent at SummerSlam.
Right.
So it's really tough that they kind of had to make this far more personal.
Did they?
And they didn't, and I think it's tough because
Bob quit 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay, people
cool.
quit jobs. It happens, dude.
Yeah,
You want
right.
to fight about it?
Right, and it's like you're not going to talk about how he went to Bellator, was the Impact Championship Wrestling heavyweight
Now
champion.
they can say TNA on WWE.
Can they?
Sure.
Sure. So
They use their footage on the network all the time.
that's true. So, he had that, he went and was their champion and the Bellator heavyweight champion at the same time.
See, that would have made a hell of a lot more sense if they went that route, because it's like, no, he didn't just quit and leave.
Yeah.
He went to the rival company,
Yeah.
as much of a rival as TNA can be, but still,
Right,
it would
right.
have told a little bit more of a story.
Right. He didn't quit wrestling because, that just insinuates that this person just stopped wrestling.
Right.
And in some cases, that's correct.
Kind of.
Some cases, like in the sense of Caitlyn, right?
Sure.
She's coming back to the Mae Young
I am
Classic.
so happy.
I'm very excited as well. But she quit and she stopped wrestling.
retired, yeah. She
She
retired
stopped
from
wrestling.
wrestling.
So in some cases that's true. But in Bobby Lashley's case, no. He went to MMA.
Mm-hmm.
He succeeded at a high level in Bellator, and then went to Impact and had a very successful run in Impact.
He did.
So that's not 100% fair to say, which is unfair. I think that it's really tough to have Bobby Lashley on Raw because Bobby Lashley's character, what really got him over in Impact, was playing the same character as Brock Lesnar. His whole gimmick was he was the destroyer.
He's legit.
Right? He was the destroyer, and Brock Lesnar's the beast.
Right.
And so he should be on SmackDown.
Yep.
He should be chasing AJ Styles for that championship.
Yep.
And you should be building him up to try and be basically the same as Brock.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they didn't decide to do it. I'm excited to see what this looks like. Now that Bobby Lashley's using the spear again, I'm far more invested in Bobby Lashley.
Sure.
He had the same issue that I had with Seth Rollins when they took away the curb stomp.
Yep.
He lost his identity.
Yep.
By not having his finish, he lost a huge part of his identity. Now that Seth Rollins has his curb stomp back, he's far more exciting because the finishes to his matches are far more
Right.
exciting. And the same thing with Bobby Lashley. That stalling suplex that he wasn't that great at is tough.
Yeah.
That's so tough.
Right.
And his matches kind of end with a thud as opposed to he's a huge man and he does the spear.
It's
and
like
it
a
looks,
couch being thrown across a ring.
Right, right.
It's
And
like Big Show doing a spear. It's
Right.
massive and it looks cool.
it looks cool and it ends with a whoa,
Right.
and it makes Bobby Lashley more interesting.
Right.
And so I hope Bobby Lashley wins this just because I want to see what a top contender Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar actually looks like.
And I feel that's part of the problem. I feel if Brock Lesnar was in the picture,
Right.
they would have Bobby go over. That was the match they were probably building for at SummerSlam. But because he's not, I really feel it's just going to be wash, rinse, repeat. Roman Reigns wins.
Yeah, right.
That's how I feel. So overall, Extreme Rules, how are you feeling about it?
It's clearly a B show, so I think this is going to be a B event. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that WWE put a lot of brain power into this. They're really focused on a lot of the other stuff that they have going on right now. They canceled TLC here in Boston.
Heard that.
In favor of their Australian show. So they're talking about adding a second WrestleMania, which you can, if you go over to the New Age Insiders, newageinsiders.com, follow us. We end up talking about that and how there's a potential for a second WrestleMania and how not okay with that we are.
Right.
But
The Australian one, from a business standpoint, makes sense.
Well, the
I
Australian-
get it.
well, it's
They've
the
done
same-
Boston a million times. As much as we'd love them to come to town,
Right.
That makes sense from a business
it
standpoint.
also makes sense from
Pay-per-views in other countries always make sense.
right. The Greatest Royal Rumble kind of set the tone as to like their global expansion.
Right.
I think that they're really kind of trying to see what those waters look like. So I don't think it's the worst idea, but at the same time, it kind of throws a whole wrench into the situation. But they need to focus on their product because they're not focusing on their
Where is
product, and it's going to be the part of this month's Wrestling Rant.
Right. Yes.
And then if we had graphics and noise,
Let's just get right into the Rasslin Rant. Why WWE needs Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I said it a little bit earlier. The most recent Monday Night Raw was this this past one in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was the lowest rated Raw of all time.
Of all
And
time. Not the last 10 years,
No.
not the last 20 years,
all
ever.
time. And so that's indicative. It's indicative of where this product is. WWE just has so many oars in the water right now that they're not caring about their main product, which is the wrestling.
Yeah.
They care far too much about turning it into a variety show, and because they've turned it into a variety show, they've lost some of the wrestling. And I think that's what the hardcore fans are looking for, is this to be a wrestling show.
Yep.
And while it's like the NFL. The NFL no longer cares about football fans, but they care about casual fans watching football.
Sure.
And WWE has hit that same thing because, look,
They've gotten too big for their own.
Right. I'm going to
their own
say it
success.
as a crazy person that screams at the internet about pro wrestling, right, for far more hours than I would like to admit. I understand, and they understand that I'm always going to watch. I'm going to tune in no matter what this show is on Sunday.
They're not booking for you and I anymore.
They're not booking for me.
We've been in it for over 30 years.
Right.
They have our money.
The reason why they care about putting Ronda Rousey, advertising that Ronda Rousey bought a ticket, isn't for me. It's for some casual that got WrestleMania because of Ronda Rousey. Well, now I'm going to get Extreme Rules because of Ronda Rousey, because she's going to be there.
Right.
It's the reason why Brock Lesnar's the Universal Champion right now. It's because they care about that. But at the same time, WWE needs Brock Lesnar right now to show up, because they don't have an A story on Raw.
I feel even let's not even get so far as to show up, because I feel that they're
Hi, Bill Neville.
I feel that they're putting their toes in too many pools, as you said.
Right.
But I understand Brock. Brock is paid per appearance now. That's his new contract.
That's
At least
the
what
deal.
I've heard. I wasn't in the meeting, but they need to pay him a few more times.
Right.
It seems like he's almost on an Undertaker contract now, but you can't have your champion be that way.
Right.
And at the very least, if he's not going to show up, I don't agree with what I heard was the mandate to not mention him on Raw after he showed up at the UFC event. Said some very naughty words and pushed DC right across the ring and basically challenged him to a match. Dana White later said, the match is going to happen.
Right.
Now, first of all, I would have brought that up. I would have shown the footage. I would have brought it up. Your champion is in an octagon pushing their champion.
Right.
That's easy. I get it. It's not WWE content. I get it. He's going wherever Brock wants to go. But that's also the guy you've been dealing with for years. It's not a surprise that Brock is going to do what Brock wants to do.
Well, your entire storyline for the past year is Roman Reigns calling Brock Lesnar out for not caring and wanting to go into UFC. Well, now you have footage of him cutting a promo in UFC. So it's
granted, they couldn't air the promo.
Right, they couldn't.
There was a few MFs and a few S's in there that you can't say on WWE TV.
So true. But it's really tough having your champion, who's supposed to be involved in the A story of your show, not be there.
Now, to try to put myself into Vince McMahon's brain, which is a dangerous place to go, I wholeheartedly believe that they are going to let him do whatever he wants, keep the title until that UFC fight, because of the possibility of Brock Lesnar showing up on Monday Night Raw with both the UFC and the Universal title on his shoulders, basically making him the most legitimate person in this profession.
Right, and that's what Vince wants, and I think he's going to get.
Which also means no Universal title match at SummerSlam.
Right, and that's why. Because this
is either going to happen, I don't know.
November.
I've heard November. I've heard he's not allowed to fight until January. But whatever. The second that thing gets announced,
right, and so that's...
You know that you're not going to see Brock until after that.
Right, and so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. But until then...
At the very least, they should be ingratiating him into the stories. At the very least, this should be a number one contender match. It doesn't have to be for next month. I get it.
Right.
Or set up...
Well, it's like Braun Strowman is carrying around a briefcase that says he's the number one contender.
It would never happen, but imagine if Braun Strowman cashed in at UFC 223.
That would be amazing.
Or was it 226? I don't know. That's so many numbers.
But the Braun Strowman going out there and saying, I want to cash in on Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar's not here.
Call him out.
And calling him out and calling him out and calling him out is great. It's because they're afraid to tell complex stories.
I also don't, and again, not having any knowledge, not pretending to have any knowledge of people's contracts or any of that business. I don't really care. I don't know what Paul Heyman's deal is.
Right.
But why not every once in a while? Because having Paul Heyman show up with the belt on Raw probably isn't going to cost you as much as if Brock shows up with the belt.
And do you need
have
Brock
Paul show up and talk crap to everybody?
Right. Do you need Brock Lesnar to...
He's doing it on Facebook.
Right. And do you need Brock Lesnar to bounce around next to Paul Heyman while Paul Heyman berates an audience?
I mean, it's great
Probably
to see,
not.
sure, but you don't need it.
But
and if it's going to save you a couple $1 million a hit, then just have Paul come out with the belt, say there is no worthy competitors, prove yourself to my beast.
Right.
And, go from there. But it keeps this title at least relevant in the story.
Yeah, and he's just gone.
See, it's not that, and again, this topic isn't that we need Brock Lesnar on TV every week, because I don't think we do, but at least he needs to be in the talking.
Well,
they need to be fighting for something.
Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley, because they don't like each other for some reason, isn't an A story.
Because Bobby quit his job 10 years ago and went to work for somebody else, which we're not talking about?
That's not an A story.
It's not.
That's not.
Sorry.
And so you have to tell an A story for people to care.
Especially it's going to close the show.
Right. It's going to close the show.
Now, again, I would love it. They could be swerving all of us, bro. And he maybe,
no.
Maybe
Nope.
something happens at the end.
I doubt it.
Look, when desperate times call for desperate measures, and they're coming off the worst Raw rating ever, that's a phone call I would make. Look, Brock, I don't care. You're going to use up one of your dates. Show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. The same thing Ronda did at the Royal Rumble. We need something to pop people at the end of this,
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I think that's such a long shot. But I mean, come on.
I'd rather, instead of just pulling the ripcord and having Brock show up,
or have Heyman show up.
Whatever.
It'd save you a few $100,000.
It doesn't matter. Instead of pulling that ripcord, I would rather have you reevaluate what you're doing.
Yeah, but they don't do that.
Yeah, but I would like to hope they do.
That takes a little bit of thinking, pal. Let's just pull a ripcord.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was that wrestling show. We're so glad to be back here on NESN. Coming up next month is SummerSlam, second biggest show of the year, August 19th. So we are going to be back here breaking it down for you on NESN. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker. Follow us on Twitter at Mike Wendt, at Liam NAI, and we'll see you next month.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Bill Neville. I love you.